What's up, team? I know we've been learning about the rainforest recently, and I just love the rainforest, so I wanted to show you how to draw one of my favorite rainforest creatures called a toucan. And a toucan is a type of bird that lives in the rainforest, especially up high in the trees. And the very tip top of the trees is the canopy. So we'll put a toucan on a branch up at the top of our rainforest, and you'll need a piece of paper. I like to draw with pencil so that you can keep it light till you get it right and you can erase. But because of the camera, I'm going to use a Sharpie so you can see it a little bit better. And then I'm going to read a story about the rainforest, and I just love the illustrations. So at the end, maybe those illustrations and the colors will really inspire you, and you can color and add to your toucan as well. So first, in the middle of our paper, toward the top, we're going to make the letter S. The letter S is going to help us begin. And I know that sounds a little silly, but an S is going to do the trick. So I'm going to start by making a big capital S, like that. So that S is our starting point. And in the middle of that S, I'm going to curve out toward the edge of my paper. It's going to be the long beak of the toucan. So I'm going to curve out and stop. And then I'm going to curve all the way back in and stop about right here in the middle of this section in our S. It's almost like a banana shape, a cuckoo banana. And I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to put a little smile mark. And then the bottom of the beak is going to be coming out of the end of our S shape here. And connect. There's our toucan beak. And actually, a lot of toucans have cool stripes and markings and colors on their beak, so I'm just going to add a few stripes here. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I think they're kind of fun. Maybe I'll put a little oval up here at the top too. Awesome. And now, at the start of our S, we're going to create the little eye patch around the eye of our toucan, where there aren't feathers, so I'm going to just curve that around, almost make a full circle, and stop right there at the beak. Now, inside this little eye patch, we're going to make the eye itself. So we're going to make a circle, like so, and then I'm going to make the pupil, or the dark part of the eye, and I'm going to leave just a little white space so it's like a black donut. That'll be like the shine in your toucan's eye. And then this part, you're the boss. You can make eyelashes or eyebrows or whatever you want to do. I might make a little eyebrow for my guy here. Boom. But you don't have to. All right. Next, down here at the end of our S shape, we're going to make another cuckoo banana. And it's going to be the belly and chest of our toucan. So we're going to curve around like so, and then to make it a banana shape, we're going to take it all the way back. Just like that, a little banana. And at the end of our banana here, we're going to continue that curve and bring it up toward the eye patch. And before we get there, we're going to stop. And we're going to connect it from the beak over here. So the beak, I'm going to come around the eye patch. I'm going to curve around that eye patch. If you want, you can give a cool hairdo to your toucan. You don't have to if you don't want to. I just thought it'd be kind of fun. And then it'll kind of connect that other line. Now, inside this big shape here, we're going to put the wing. So I'm going to just start kind of in the middle of this big shape for the body. And I'm just going to curve almost like an L or a backwards J, kind of boom, or half of a big U. And then I'm going to make some diagonal lines. We've learned about diagonal, vertical, and horizontal lines. We're going to use diagonal lines to create some of the feathers in our wing. And you can make as many as you want. How many did I make? Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. I made 4. You can make as many as you want. All right. Now, we're going to add a little foot, and we're going to put this toucan on a branch. So I make just like 3 little toes. You can make as many toes as you want. And I just curve out from our banana belly here, and I make a 1, a 2, and a 3 toes before I bring it back to the body. Just like that. Next, we're going to make the branch that our little toucan is sitting on. So to make the branch, you can make it as big as you want. I want my branch to go from one edge of my paper all the way to the other edge over here. So it's going to start on the left and end on the right. And you know what? The branches in the rainforest aren't perfectly horizontal. They're not perfectly vertical. They're not even perfectly diagonal. They might have a little wave and a little curve to them because they're natural branches. So I'm going to just make a nice gentle curved line, stop at the toucan because we don't want our branch going through them, and then we're going to come out the other side right there, and boom. Now you can have a branch really thick that takes up the whole rest of your paper, or you can make it a little thinner, and I try to make the same line, kind of like a twin line, with the same curves as the first one I drew. Boom. I kind of ran out of room, didn't I? And if you had more space under your branch, you could make some tail feathers as well. I'm going to make some diagonal lines that look like the tail going underneath that branch. You can make as many tail feathers as you want. And next we're going to add some texture. So I use line to create texture. So the feathers on my toucan are smooth. So I'm going to use some smooth lines to create some texture. I'm actually curving these lines in the same direction as my banana shape. And I'm going to do the same on the head here. I'm going to make some curved lines for texture that curve around his head. And maybe a few in the wing as well. And you can make as much texture as you want. Maybe there's a little texture in his toes. And then the branch would be a rougher texture than the feathers, so I'm going to just make those a little curvier and a little rougher. Because if you felt the bark on a tree, it would be a little rougher than the feathers of a toucan. You could go all the way across. And if you want to make some big rainforest leaves, you could just have a little shoot coming out of your branch there, and I'm going to go with diagonal lines coming out of my branch. And then on one line, just make a big curved shape. And then on the other one, curve toward the end. And you've made an awesome leaf. And then of course, there would be like veins and lines in your leaf as well. And I just use the letter V to do that. And I'll show you again. Curve, start at your other line and curve to a point, and then a line and the letter V create some really good lines in your leaf. Now I'll show you one that I did earlier where I even added more leaves and the sun, and you can see I had more room for the tail feathers, so there's no right or wrong way. You can also add the other wing of your toucan if you want him kind of waving out to you. So you can add as many details as you want to your toucan. And maybe you'll want to add more animals as well, and the colors and animals from this next book might help you with that. And I really like it because the illustrations are just so detailed and so fun, and it takes place in the Amazon, which is in South America. And I was lucky enough to go to South America and actually see a toucan in the wild. So that's why I love this book so much. So let's take a look. An Amazon adventure roaming through the rainforest. And look, there's a toucan right there. Rainforest sunrise, the dark fades away, and everyone eagerly greets the new day. So the sun comes out, and so do the animals. Fly, squawk the parrots from branches and twigs, will swoop down to breakfast on ripe, juicy figs. Now these macaws, the biggest type of parrot, do you see what colors are in their wings? The three primary colors, rojo, red, amarillo, yellow, azul, blue. So maybe you want your toucan to have primary colors just like the parrots. Jump, chatter monkeys, or swing if you dare, we'll hang by our tails and leap through the air. Silly monkeys. Snooze, yawn the sloths, all ready to doze. We'll nap in the trees as we cling by our toes. And these are the famous three-toed sloth. Super slow. Swim, gurgle, pink river dolphins with pride. We'll nuzzle our calves while we swim side by side. They're swimming through the Amazon River. Sip, murmur butterflies high in the sky. We'll lunch upon nectar as we flutter by. Watch, snap the caimans with wide awake eyes. We'll offer our prey an unwelcome surprise. Hide, croak the colorful poison dart frogs. We'll burrow down under the moss-covered logs. Do you see the poison dart frogs? They're kind of blending into their surroundings, like camouflage. March, order leaf cutter ants on parade. We'll bury our cuttings in gardens we made. Now, ants are pretty strong, aren't they? They can carry things that weigh more than them. Spin, hum the spiders, perfecting a snare. We'll capture our supper. Would you like to share? Would you share dinner with a spider? I don't think I would. Scoop, hiss the gecko and lizard and snake. We'll skitter and scamper and slither and shake. So some pretty cool texture and color on these creatures too. Crouch, growl the jaguars as dusk closes in. We'll hide until dark when our hunt can begin. So the jaguars come out at night to do their hunting. Hush, whisper otters to pups in a heap. We'll cuddle together till we fall asleep. Cute little otter pups. Rainforest sunset, the moon's on the rise, and everyone listens to night's lullabies. So now the sun has set and the moon is out, and it's darker in the rainforest. And then the last page is a cool map of South America. So here is the Amazon River, one of the biggest rivers of all time. And this really dark green is the Amazon rainforest right there. So you can see how big it is in relation to the whole country in this little small key part of the map. And then Ecuador here is the country I got to go to. And I saw the cloud forest and all sorts of cool creatures there. Awesome, awesome. So I hope that this story inspired you for your rainforest learning, but also some of the colors that you can use when you add more details and colors and textures to your toucans. So continue with your work. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Make sure to share it when you're done. Keep up the good work, team. Adios, amigos.